Dear Patriots, before the news starts, please subscribe to our patriotic channel by clicking the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up to this video. Don't forget to leave your opinion below in the comments section. Share the news on Facebook and Twitter so your friends see it. Thank you.
And just like that, Trump admin is ending Obama's catch and release. President Trump's admin is ending the disastrous Obama-era catch and release program. Attorney General Jeff Sessions is directing immigration judges to process cases quicker, to shrink the massive backlog, and allow cases to be handled quickly. From Breitbart. Attorney General Jeff Sessions is directing immigration judges to process more cases in less time, as part of a larger reform to end catch and release and shrink the growing backlog of 600,000 plus cases in the immigration courts. According to the Wall Street Journal, the new rules say judges will be required to complete 700 cases a year and to see fewer than 15% of their decisions sent back by a higher court. Over the past 5 years, the average judge completed 678 cases in a year, said Justice Department spokesman Devin O'Malley. But there was a range, he said, with some judges completing as many as 1,500 cases in a year. In addition, they will be required to meet other metrics, depending on their particular workload. One standard demands that 85% of removal cases for people who are detained be completed within 3 days of a hearing on the merits of the case. Another metric demands that 95% of all merits hearings be completed on the initial scheduled hearing date. The new rules are intended to encourage efficient and effective case management while preserving immigration judge discretion and due process, said a Friday email from James McHenry, who is the director of the office which oversees the department's judges, dubbed the Executive Office for Immigration Review. Immigration lawyers derided the new rules, even though the faster process might resolve their clients' cases in less time and at less cost. Conveyor belt justice, complained immigration lawyer Greg Siskind. The new rules are part of an effort by Sessions to reform the immigration courts, which are part of his agency. For example, Sessions is hiring more than 100 extra immigration judges in 2017 and 2018. Sessions has directed the roughly 350 immigration judges to focus their time resolving the newest cases, rather than the oldest cases in the backlog. Sessions is rewriting prior immigration court precedents decisions which slow adjudication. On March 5, Sessions formally vacated a 2014 immigration court decision, dubbed Matter of EFHL, and told the 350 immigration court judges that they could rely on submitted written evidence to avoid full hearings in some deportation cases. In January, Sessions undertook a review of a case titled Matter of Castro Tum, which will allow Sessions to approve or end the practice of administrative closure, in which judges officially forget about enforcing deportation orders and so effectively grant illegals the right to reside in the United States. Roughly 350,000 illegals have benefited from this administrative closure policy, including roughly 175,000 migrants during Obama's watch. These reforms may eventually help solve the catch and release problem, much of which is caused by the agency's failure to process asylum claims within 20 days. Under current legal procedures, asylum seekers have to be released from detention if their cases cannot be heard in 20 days. The slow court system means that many new migrants know they will be released once they are caught, so allowing them to migrate northwards in search of jobs. Sessions' bureaucratic actions also may help offset the impact of Congress' support for cheap labor immigration. This congressional support blocked President Donald Trump's reforms in February and cut most of his funding priorities from the 2018 omnibus in March. Congress' refusal to reform border laws, to fund the border wall, or trim legal immigration, floods the labor market. That flood of labor reduces Americans' wages and reduces corporate investment in labor-saving machinery. The freed-up cash then flows towards corporations, their investors, and their lawyers. Sarah Carter uncovers new incriminating FBI texts that'll send the Obama-era FISA scandal into overdrive. Investigative journalist Sarah Carter just dropped a bombshell report which reveals more incriminating text messages from FBI agent Peter Strzok and his lover, colleague Lisa Page. This latest round of texts could perhaps be the most damning yet, as they reveal Obama's FBI may have improperly coordinated with the DOJ in an effort to pressure the FISA courts to issue a rushed warrant against Trump campaign member Carter Page. From Sarah Carter. Communications uncovered by congressional investigators reveal the FBI may have improperly coordinated with Department of Justice officials in an effort to pressure those officials to expedite a foreign intelligence surveillance warrant on a former volunteer with the President Trump's campaign, congressional officials said. Text messages obtained by investigators reveal that FBI Special Agent Peter Strzok and his colleague Lisa Page were discussing the FBI's difficulty in obtaining the warrant to spy on Carter Page, who worked for a short stint with the Trump campaign. The FBI obtained its first warrant to spy on Page on October 19, 2016, and there would be 3 subsequent renewals every 90 days for the warrant on Mr. Page. The communications, which were first released last week and obtained by congressional investigators, occurred roughly 1 month before the Page warrant was obtained. The communications suggested that there was possible coordination by Obama White House officials, the CIA and the FBI into the investigation into President Donald Trump's campaign, as reported earlier. In one of the September 2016 text message chains, Strzok tells Lisa Page about an argument that occurred with former DOJ prosecutor David Laufman. Laufman, who was then chief of the DOJ's National Security Division's Counterintelligence and Export Control Section, oversaw the probe into former presidential candidate Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server, as well as the alleged Russian interference in the 2016 election. Laufman left the DOJ earlier this year citing personal reasons for leaving his post, according to news reports. In the text message, Strzok complains that Laufman told him the holdup for the application was the delay. The EDVA is the Eastern District of Virginia, a court that had issued several FISAs in the early days of the investigation, congressional investigators said. Everything here, from the texts complaining about FISA delays to the exchanges indicating coordination, to the White House visitor logs, seems to match to a disturbing degree. At best, it's a strange coincidence worth investigating further, but it's likely much more, a congressional investigator told this reporter. Congress has to take this information seriously if we hope to restore Americans' trust in our federal justice system. In March 2016 there was already tension brewing between the FBI and Laufman. "I am getting aggravated at Laufman," a March 2016 message from Strzok to Lisa Page said. According to congressional investigators, the new communications suggest that conflict only got deeper in the following months. In a September 8, 2016 text message, Lisa Page told Strzok, "Oh, just make sure I understood where things were on the redacted paper, trying to talk to Axelrod, Matthew Axelrod, DOJ prosecutor, because he's so angry with how this came over to them. I told her not to put herself out too much. If Matt wants to call and yell at Andy, it's fine." Matthew Axelrod was the former top deputy to then acting Attorney General Sally Yates. Yates was fired by Trump in January 2017 after she refused to enforce his executive travel ban order. The reference to Andy is former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe, who was fired on March 16, by the Department of Justice at the request of the FBI's Office of Professional Responsibility, OPR. Only several days after the text was sent, White House visitor logs reveal that on September 12, 2016, Axelrod met with President Obama at the White House. McCabe may now be looking at possible charges for lying under oath to DOJ Inspector General Michael Horowitz, who is investigating the FBI's handling of its investigation into Clinton. His firing came days before he would have been eligible for a lifetime pension. The Bureau fired McCabe based on evidence that he lied to the DOJ's Inspector General's office 4 times regarding leaks to the media during the FBI's investigation into Clinton's use of the unsecured private server to send classified messages. DOJ Attorney General Jeff Sessions said in a statement that McCabe had made an unauthorized disclosure to the news media and lacked candor, including under oath, on multiple occasions. McCabe contended in a statement shortly after his firing that he was fired as part of the administration's ongoing war on the FBI and the efforts of the special counsel investigation. However, current FBI Director Christopher Wray disputed McCabe's assertion that he was fired for political reasons, saying in an interview with NBC's Nightly News that his commitment to making sure that our process is followed, that it relies on objective input, and that most importantly, it is not based on political or partisan influence is something I am utterly unyielding on. Happening now: Trump just revealed his genius plan to guard the U.S. border. President Trump just announced that with help from General Mattis, that the U.S. military will be used to guard the U.S.-Mexico border until the wall is built. From Fox News. President Trump said he has spoken to Defense Secretary James Mattis about the U.S. military being used to police the southern border. Until we can have a wall with proper security, we are going to be guarding our border with our military. That's a big step, he said at the White House, expressing dismay at a caravan of migrants making their way from Honduras to the U.S. border. According to a BuzzFeed report, the caravan was organized by People Without Borders. Many plan to apply for asylum at the border in the U.S. or slip in undetected. Trump said other countries are laughing at the U.S. immigration laws, which he said are so weak and so pathetic that the migrants would be allowed to enter. He said under the Obama administration's policies, the migrants could be released into the U.S. with a court date, but that many would never show up to court. He then applauded Mexican authorities for breaking up large portions of the caravan as it moved through Mexico. They have very strong immigration laws, as we should have, he said, adding the caravan situation make him very sad. It's sad for the people in the caravan and it's sad for the people in the United States. He said asylum seekers are coached in advance on what to say at the border in order to go before a judge and start the process. We cannot have them taken out. We have to bring them before a ridiculous court system, he said during a meeting with Baltic state leaders. Trump called on Mexico to do more to police its side of the border, threatening to make the issue part of new negotiations on NAFTA. Watch his comments above.